Hello everyone. In this video, let us discuss in detail about thin layer chromatography. In my previous video, I have discussed about paper chromatography. I'll provide you icon. Please go through that video. So this thin layer chromatography is quite similar with the paper chromatography with a slight variations. In paper chromatography, we use Whatman number filter paper as a stationary phase, right? But here in this thin layer chromatography technique, we use silica or aluminum as a stationary phase. We can simply call it as TLC. So here TLC stands for thin layer chromatography. It is again based on the same principle where we are going to achieve the separation of a mixture of compounds. And here with the help of this chromatography technique, we can also assess the purity of that particular compound. In this technique, we are going to achieve the separation of compounds from a mixture based on the differences in the affinity. Right? So here we are going to use silica sheets as stationary phase and the liquid solvent as mobile phase. The interaction between the stationary phase and the mobile phase results in the separation of the compounds. So the compounds which are present in the mixture will have differences in the affinity. That means some of the compounds will have higher affinity towards the stationary phase, whereas some of the molecules will have higher affinity towards the mobile phase. So when this mobile phase passes through the stationary phase, that is through the silica gel, the molecules which are present in the sample will also migrate. So there will be a partition of these compounds between these two phases, that is in between the stationary phase and between the mobile phase. That leads to the separation of a compounds. When you observe a sheet of silica, here you are going to get a different spots or bands. So each band represents a compound. So if you observe this picture here, you can see 5 bands, right? So that means your sample contains 5 different compounds. So here some of this, so for example, this is where you have applied this spot. So this first band is very close to the spot, whereas this fifth band is far away from the spot. Why? Because if the molecule is having a higher affinity towards this stationary phase, that will move slowly. If that molecules have a less affinity towards the stationary phase and more affinity towards the mobile phase, then it will move faster along with the mobile phase. Generally, the higher the solubility of the compound in the solvent, greater the solute mobility in that solvent. Hope you are clear with the principle. So what is the stationary phase here? We can use either silica or alumina powder as a stationary phase, which will act as a adsorbents here, and these are used as a stationary phase. We can go with either of the options, okay? And we are going to coat this silica or alumina onto a supporting material. We can use either glass or metal foil. We are going to make a thin layer of silica onto this glass slide. If you can prepare in the lab, you can go with this method where you are going to prepare a silica slurry and then you are going to add at the top of the glass slide and you are going to spread it on the top of the glass slide, and that thickness should be around 0.25 mm. If not, you can buy directly those silica sheets which are commercially available. I think in a box you will get around some 20 silica sheets that are finely coated onto a metal foil, and that box usually costs around some 15,000 to 20,000. I think, I don't exactly remember. This is one of my favorite experiments. I think I have performed this experiment some n number of times during my PhD work. Like I worked on a medicinal plant and I wanted to isolate some bioactive compounds from that medicinal plant. So for my research purpose, I have especially used this thin layer chromatography technique where I have separated the mixture of compounds from a plant extract, and of course as I am interested in isolating a single compound, I have gone with this technique where I have assessed the purity of my sample. Of course I have also performed the high performance liquid chromatography technique that we simply call it as HPLC to check the purity of the sample. That's all a different story. We can discuss it later. But right now, let us look into this technique of thin layer chromatography. And hope you are clear with the stationary phase. And coming to the mobile phase, we can use a volatile organic solvent or a mixture of solvents, where here you are going to involve some polar organic solvents and some non-polar organic solvents. If you are interested in isolating flavonoids, you go with one combination. If you are interested in isolating alkaloids, you go with the different combination of a solvent system. So you need to standardize it first before you start the experiment. Coming to the procedure, it is very similar with the paper chromatography. Here, instead of Wattman number filter paper, what you are supposed to take? You are supposed to take a silica sheet with 0.25 mm thickness, and here the silica is used as a stationary phase, and you are going to prepare a mobile phase with the different combination of organic solvents, right? Once you are ready with the preparation of the mobile phase, say for example this is the TLC chamber, that should be covered with the lid. As these are the volatile organic solvents, they will get evaporated easily. To avoid that problem, make sure you always cover this chamber with lid, right? Once you prepare the mobile phase, that mobile phase should be added to this chamber and allow it for saturation. And in this meantime, what you are going to do? You have to take a silica sheet, and using a pencil, you have to mark a line leaving 2 centimeters above from the edge of the sheet. Okay. Now you are going to apply sample spots with the help of a capillary tubes. Do not apply more sample, just a small spot is sufficient, right? Once you are done with the application of sample, what you are supposed to do? You have to allow it for drying. After the sample gets air dried, now you are going to place this sheet into this chamber. Do not completely immerse this sheet into this mobile phase. Just the edge should touch the mobile phase, and your line should be exactly here. This is where you have applied the samples. If you observe the picture carefully, so here you have applied the sample. Make sure this sample line should not be merged with the mobile phase, okay? And you have to leave some space. Only the edge of the sheet should touch the mobile phase, so that the mobile phase will start the migration once it comes in contact with the stationary phase. And when it starts the movement, so along with the mobile phase, the compounds which are present in the sample will also start the movement. And after a certain point of time, the migration of the solvent will be stopped. Then you need to take this sheet out of the chamber. This is where you have applied the samples. You have already marked with the help of a pencil, right? If you observe here, your solvent has migrated till this point. Say for example, it has migrated around 15 centimeters, right? And you have applied the sample leaving 2 centimeters away from the edge of the sheet. Now, after the movement of the mobile phase and after it gets stopped, what you are supposed to do? You have to remove this TLC sheet out from the chamber. Now you exactly know the location, right? You are going to mark it with the help of a pencil again. So total distance is around 15 centimeters. You can measure it with the help of a scale. Now what you do? You can expose this TLC sheet to iodine vapors, or you can directly observe this sheet under UV light. When you expose it to UV light, you can clearly visualize those spots or bands. So each band will represent a specific compound. Now if you observe, for example, as I told you earlier, if your sample contains 5 compounds, now you are going to get 5 spots here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say for example 1, 2, 3, 4. Your next sample. This is sample 1, sample 2, and the third sample is your standard. Now you are interested in isolating some X sample, for example, X compound, for example. So now you are going to mark this spot with the help of a pencil. All these spots are to be marked with the help of a pencil. And now you are going to measure the distance, right? So you are going to measure the distance that is traveled by the solvent, and at the same time you are going to measure the distance that is traveled by the solute. Now you are going to compare the RF value of the standard with the actual samples, and you are going to identify the compound of interest. So your compound is present in the sample 1 and your compound is present in the sample 2. So which is exactly matching with this standard sample. So you are going to measure the RF value. RF stands for retention factor. So the RF value is calculated using a formula: distance travelled by solute by distance travelled by solvent. So distance travelled by solute is, so this is your solute. So this is the compound which is present in the sample, right? So you are going to measure this distance, that is from the region of sample application to the region of the center of the spot. That gives you the distance travelled by solute. And you are going to measure the distance that is travelled by the solvent. This mobile phase will migrate up with the help of capillary action, right? That is towards the stationary phase, right, in a upward direction. That we are going to mark it with the help of a pencil. That gives you the distance travelled by the solvent. So now with that value, say for example the distance travelled by the solute is around 5 and the distance travelled by the solvent is around 15. That gives you the RF value of that particular compound. So you are going to measure the RF value for all these 5 compounds, and this standard as well. Right, now you will have a complete data of that particular compounds present in a mixture. If you want to assess the purity of the sample, for example if you have a sample X that contains compound X only, okay, and when you perform a TLC, how many spots you need to get? You need to get a single spot. So you have applied only one sample and that sample contains only one compound, right? After you perform TLC, after the sheet gets dried, when you remove out from the chamber and when you expose it to iodine vapors, you can clearly observe a spot or you can observe a band, right? And you are going to mark the center of the spot and you are going to measure the distance. At the same time you are going to measure the distance that is travelled by the solvent. That gives you the RF value of that compound which you are interested in. At the same time you can assess the purity. That's what I said. If you get a single band indicating that your sample is pure with a single compound, but if you get another band, that indicates that your sample is contaminated. That's the reason I told you, you need to wear a gloves when you perform the experiment also. That may give you some false results when you touch the sheet with your fingers. If any oils that are present on the fingers will interrupt the results. You may get some other spot somewhere else. For suppose if you touched here, you may get a spot here. If you touched here, you may get a spot here. Instead of a single band which you are supposed to get, you may get some 2 to 3 bands. That gives you a confusion. So make sure you perform the experiment properly. You have to use a good quality pencil for marking, otherwise that gets dissolved and you may not exactly find out where you have applied the sample. If you are confused with the sample application, then it may give you a different results because here the distance will be changed, right? And moreover, you need to apply these samples with the help of capillary tube. So excess sample application is also not advisable. If you are working with any medicinal plants, for suppose if you prepare a plant extract with a polar or a non-polar solvent, for example if you have an ethanol extract or if you have a chloroform extract, and if you want to identify the number of compounds that you got with that particular extract, say for example you have 2 extracts, one is the ethanol extract and the other one is the chloroform extract. Ethanol is a polar solvent and the chloroform is a non-polar solvent. So based on the polarity, you are going to get the compounds from the plant source, okay? Now this ethanol extract may contain some 10 compounds and the chloroform extract may contain some 5 compounds that you want to detect with the help of TLC. What you are supposed to do? You have to take a TLC sheet. You have to mark a horizontal line with the help of a pencil, and you are going to apply the ethanol extract as a spot and the chloroform extract as a spot. If you are interested in a particular compound, like plants will have a different bioactive compounds like phenols, flavonoids, alkaloids, steroids, lignins, cardiac glycosides, tannins, terpenes, etc. Right? And if you are particularly interested in isolating a terpenoid, then you have to prepare a mobile phase that suits the isolation of a terpenoid. Then once you prepare the mobile phase and once you place this sheet in a TLC chamber containing mobile phase and you carry out the procedure. After the procedure is done, you are going to remove the sheet and you are going to expose it to iodine vapors for the identification of those compounds. You may get 10 compounds with the ethanol extract and you may get 5 compounds with the chloroform extract. Now you need to calculate the RF value for all those compounds. Now what you can make out? From a plant source you are getting more compounds with the ethanol extract and you are getting somewhat less compounds with the chloroform extract compared to the ethanol extract. Now if you want to carry out the further studies, what you can do? You can, for example, this is the band you got. This band you can scrap out with the help of a scalpel. So this is just a silica, right? You can scrap with the help of a scalpel. And then you collect that powder into an Eppendorf tube. Add an organic solvent. If you are going with the ethanol extract, you just add ethanol to that and you go for the centrifugation. Whatever the compound that is present in that band will be released into that organic solvent, that is into the ethanol, and the silica will be deposited at the bottom. See, during centrifugation what happens? The molecules which have higher density will be deposited at the bottom, right? So the silica particles will settle at the bottom and the compound that is present in that band will be dissolved in the ethanol. Suppose if you want to proceed with that compound, you can also remove that ethanol from that compound, like you just remove the Eppendorf cap and you leave it like that in a room temperature. So by the next day the ethanol gets evaporated and your compound will present in a Eppendorf tube. You can send that sample for the further analysis. If you want to check the purity, you go with the HPLC study, and if you want to predict the structure of that particular compound, you can go with the GCMS and you can go with the NMR studies. Once you are done with the structure prediction, you can also carry out the antimicrobial and the antioxidant study of that particular compound. And once you come to know that so and so compound is having a therapeutic property that can be released into a market as a novel drug. So once you are clear with the data, like after you perform some preclinical studies and you perform some clinical studies and you know that your compound is having a higher efficacy, then you can release that product into a market. This is how we actually carry out the research work in order to identify a novel compounds, that too from any plant sources. Coming to the applications of thin layer chromatography, this analytical technique can be used to check the purity, and it is used for the identification of compounds like acids, alcohols, proteins, alkaloids, amines, antibiotics and many more. See, for each compound you need to standardize the mobile phase first, and it is also used to evaluate the reaction process by assessment of intermediates, and it can be used for the purification process as well as to keep a check on the performance of other separation processes. For example, if you perform a column chromatography where you are going to collect the samples, right, and if we want to check whether that particular solution is having a single compound or a multiple compound, see what we do in a column chromatography, we are going to pack the columns with silica, for example, and then we are going to apply the solution from the top of the column. So this samples will again get separated, right? We are going to separate the compounds from a mixture, right? And we are going to collect the elutions from the bottom of the column, right? And we are going to collect some 1 ml or 2 ml or 5 ml of the elutions, right? And if we want to check whether that particular eluted sample is having a single compound or a multiple compounds, again we can cross check with the help of this thin layer chromatography technique, where we are going to apply that sample onto this TLC sheet as a spot, and we can determine how many compounds were present in that particular elution. If we get a single band, that indicates the presence of a single compound. If we get some 2 to 3 spots, that indicates that sample contains 3 different compounds. In this way we can assess with the help of the thin layer chromatography technique. This is all about the thin layer chromatography technique. Soon I will come up with the next video. Thank you so much.